Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52-1 to make a statement of a matter of general topical concern, namely the plight of 5 Kenyans who are stranded in Malaysia. Mr. Speaker, sir, the five Kenyans, namely Sospita Ngahu from Bungoma County, Dixon Amin and David Nyamanga from Kisumu County, Geoffrey Maina from Kiambu County, and Charles Gitonga from Nairobi City County, traveled to Malaysia on the promise of well-paying jobs only for them to become victims of global trafficking in humans. The 5 who are now stranded in Malaysia are living in very deplorable conditions. Mr. Speaker, sir, the victims were taken to Malaysia in the name of getting well-paying jobs by an agent working for Elite Job Hub 21 agency, who organized for everything concerning the travel and at a fee to the victims. They were thereafter handed over to another Kenyan in Malaysia, who took them to a Pakistani, who later handed them over again to an Indian, who thereafter handed them over to a Chinese company, J&T Cargo, where they settled and started working, albeit without any signed contracts. They worked several jobs, including loading and offloading heavy cargo, such as fridges, in the company's warehouse. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 5 worked at J&T Cargo for 2 months. They worked for a 12-hour shift every day without proper meals. Their lunches comprised 5 slices of bread with 250 mils of milk. They were not provided with proper shelter and worked without pay. After the 2 months, when they decided to ask for payment from their Chinese employer, they were told that they could not be paid because they had been bought and should be ready to work for 3 years before a decision on whether they should be paid could be made. After another 2 months, while working during a night shift, the 5 were thrown out by the employer without any compensation for their labor. Mr. Speaker, sir, in order for the 5 to leave Malaysia, they need to pay a fine for overstaying their visa, as they were not issued with a work permit as earlier communicated to them. They now need money to pay for the overstay fine and flight tickets to come back home. Some of them had taken loans back home in Kenya in order for them to pay for the relevant agency fees for them to travel to Malaysia. Due to their lack of funds, and 5 are stuck in Malaysia. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 5 have written to the Kenyan embassy in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, seeking assistance but have not received a response. They currently stay in a forest during daytime and sleep in one of their warehouses near the forest at night. Mr. Speaker, sir, as a senator in this House, I'm concerned this situation raises questions. 1, are we still in the era of slave trade? 2, is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs aware of the problems that the 5 Kenyans are going through in Malaysia? And if yes, what steps have they taken to save the Kenyans? 3, what is the role of Kenyan Embassy in Malaysia in ensuring that the 5 Kenyans are facilitated to come back home or come back to Kenya? Mr. Speaker, sir, I therefore urge the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare, in collaboration with the Ministries of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs and that of Interior and National Administration, to inquire into this matter and ensure that the people who are involved in human trafficking activities are dealt with. Thank you.